Hello, this is Ultrasteel, and welcome to another episode of Overpowered Yu-Gi-Oh! Cards. So, for today, we are going to be talking about the Spellbook spell cards and the Prophecy monster archetypes. Now, Prophecy monsters and Spellbook spell cards work very genuinely together. In fact, they're both supposed to work together. Now, there's a certain spell card in the spell books that makes this whole prophecy archetype very, very broken. I mean, before this card even came out, the spell books and were already okay to power up the prophecy monsters and other spellcasters. You see, the spellbook spell cards always powered up the spellcaster monsters in Yu-Gi-Oh! So when they added this other new spell card, which I'm about to get to, the game got broken. I mean, it was already very powerful enough with Spellbook of Wisdom, Spellbook of Power, Spellbook of Eternity, Spellbook of Spellbook Tower. This one recycled your Spellbook spell cards, and you were able to keep recycling them, and you even got extra draw for just returning a Spellbook card in your graveyard to the bottom of your deck, and you got to draw again, which made it more versatile. Alright, so and Spellbook of Fate is just the 3 optional card that it's already so good. Now why would you want to make the deck even more broken? The deck was already very powerful enough. So when they released this card, wait for it, Spellbook of Judgment. This card is one of the worst cards I have ever seen. The reason being, it is so easily usable, and it's so good. I mean good in a bad way. It's so good that it makes all the broken cards you may have seen back in the day like nothing. Excluding Chaos Emperor Dragon, because that monster is still pretty terrifying. Anyways, Spellbook of Judgment. Basically, during the end phase of the turn this card was activated, add Spellbook spell cards from your deck to your hand, except Spellbook of Judgment up to the number of Spellbook. Oh wait, Spellbook? No, spell cards. So basically, you can activate any spell card just to power up this card, and you'll see what I mean in a minute. So depending on how many spell cards you activate during this turn, the end of this turn, you basically get to add up to the number of Spellbook spell cards at the end phase from your deck to your hand. So, for example, if I use Monster Reborn and another spell card, so that's 2 already, and I already activated this thing before activating those, I would get to add 2 Spellbook spell cards from your deck from my deck to my hand. So imagine how versatile this would be with Spellbook of Secrets. Spellbook of Secrets adds a Spellbook card to your hand, so you could keep, go mildly powerful with this. You can just plus and gain so much additional cards. And just to make things worse, you know what they did? They made this a quick play spell card, so if you can chain it to stuff, making it more versatile. What that means is you can make a response to, let's say, another spell card they activate, or you can set this and then you can chain it. It's just a very annoying card, and it doesn't stop there. When this card, let's see, it says after this card's resolution, which means after it's finished activating its first effect, then you can special summon 1 spellcaster type monster whose level is less than or equal to the number of cards that you added to your hand by this card's effect. Now that is too dang good. Luckily, which it doesn't really help that much, you can activate 1 Spellbook of Judgment per turn. What were you thinking, Konami? Spellbook spell cards were already versatile enough. I don't think we need another one like this one, which just made it more broken. What were they thinking? Why? Apparently, the reason they made this card is because spellbooks weren't topping. Yeah, right. I think they had potential enough to top a tournament, to win a tournament. I think just most of the players didn't know how to use spellbooks at the time, and back then I was actually thinking about building a spell deck. Spellbook deck. But ever since this card came out, and let me tell you, this card is worth about $100. It might have gotten cheaper or more. The lowest at it would become cheap would be $60. But anyways, that's not the point. The point is, a lot of other duelists would have probably built this deck if it weren't for this card. It just took out all the skill. Well, not all the skill, but it took out most. Spellbook players, they do use skill, but ever since this card came out, it kind of reduced that skill because this deck is way too overpowered now just because of this one spell card. And let me tell you, every time a Spellbook player uses this spell card, this is the face they have when they succeed in adding all the cards from their deck to their hand equal to the number of spell cards. Brace yourself! Yeah, that's pretty freaking scary. And I don't blame them. I don't blame them for making that big smile of a face, because that's how dang good this card is. It defines greedy. It defines greedy so well. And it's really disappointing because I was a fan of spellcaster decks. I'm pretty sure a lot of you guys love the spellcaster monsters, and ever since this deck came out, and it was pretty fun, but then this spell card came out, it just made things over the top notch broken. So hopefully next ban list, they should ban, they shouldn't even put it to one use only. Like, they shouldn't make it to where you can only have one, because here's the problem. If you put it at one, the Spellbook player is most likely going to recycle it with either Spellbook of Eternity, which will add a remove from play, Spellbook of Judgment. Like you could another way you could recycle, which would be the main way. You could use the Spellbook of Tower to put that used Spellbook of Judgment back to your deck. Then you can search out later with maybe a Spellbook of Secrets, or you can search out with your Prophecy monster. So basically, they would have to ban it, I'm afraid, because it is way too unhealthy for the game. If Dark Magician were here, I think he would be in the corner, just being mad and upset. Like, he wouldn't even be saying anything. This Spellbook card is a disgrace to all spellcasters. I'm a big fan of spellcasters. I actually liked the Spellbook cards before this piece of crap came out. Well, hopefully next ban list, this card will get hit. And it most likely is. But ban, not limit. Anyways, this is the first episode, or this is the second episode of Overpowered Yu-Gi-Oh cards. Thank you for watching. Take care. Watch out for this stupid card.